Welcome to our deep dive into understanding porn addiction. This is a topic that's often surrounded by shame and secrecy, but it's important to bring it out into the open. We're going to break down the stigma and get real about what's going on. Today, we'll explore what porn addiction is, how it affects the brain and behavior, and the best ways to recover. We're going to talk about the science, the symptoms, and the solutions. This isn't about judgment, it's about understanding. We're going to take a look at how this addiction operates in the brain, how it affects people's lives, and what steps you can take to regain control. Knowledge is power, and we're going to empower you to make informed decisions about your life. So, what exactly are we talking about when we say porn addiction? It's not just about how much porn someone watches, it's about the effect it has on their life. We're talking about a pattern of behavior where someone is so consumed by pornography that it starts to negatively impact their relationships, their work, their mental health. They might be spending excessive amounts of time watching porn, hiding it from loved ones, or feeling unable to stop even though they want to. Professionals look for specific criteria to diagnose this. It's not just a feeling, it's a real condition. They look at things like whether someone's lost control over their porn use, if it's causing significant distress, if it's interfering with their daily life. We're talking about people who are missing out on work or school, neglecting their responsibilities, or withdrawing from their loved ones because they're so caught up in this cycle. And it takes a toll on their mental health too. We often see depression, anxiety, shame, and feelings of worthlessness go hand in hand with this addiction. It's important to remember that everyone's experience is different. There's no one-size-fits-all definition. But if you're seeing these patterns in your life or someone you love, it's time to pay attention. This isn't something to ignore. It's time to get real about the impact this is having and start looking for solutions. Now, some people might question whether porn addiction is really a true addiction. They might say, it's not a substance, so how can it be addictive? But here's the thing. Addiction isn't just about substances. It's about behaviors, it's about the brain, and it's about the impact on someone's life. Just like with gambling addiction or gaming addiction, porn addiction involves compulsive behaviors that provide a temporary sense of relief or pleasure. But over time, these behaviors start to control the person, not the other way around. They need more and more to get the same effect, and they experience withdrawal symptoms when they try to stop. Now, while all addictions share some similarities, porn addiction does have its unique aspects. It often carries a heavy load of shame and secrecy, making it even harder for people to reach out for help. And because pornography is so easily accessible in today's world, it can be incredibly challenging to avoid those triggers. But here's the bottom line. If it looks like an addiction, acts like an addiction, and affects someone like an addiction, it's time to treat it like an addiction. We need to stop minimizing the problem and start taking it seriously. Chapter 3. Recognizing the signs. So, how do you know if you or someone you love might be struggling with porn addiction? Well, there are some telltale signs and symptoms to look out for. One of the biggest red flags is excessive time spent watching porn. We're talking hours upon hours, often at the expense of other important aspects of life. Relationships might start to suffer, intimacy with a partner might decrease, and there might be a lack of interest in sex in the real world. Responsibilities might fall by the wayside. Work might suffer, schoolwork might pile up, and everyday tasks might get neglected. People struggling with this addiction often become very secretive. They might hide their porn use, clear their browser history, or make excuses for their behavior. They might experience mood swings, irritability, or become withdrawn and isolated from loved ones. Shame and guilt are common companions. They might feel ashamed of their behavior and guilty about the impact it's having on others. And here's the thing, they might try to stop, but find themselves unable to control their urges. That's a hallmark of addiction. If you're seeing these signs, it's time to reach out for help. Don't wait for things to get worse. Chapter 4. The dopamine connection. Now let's talk about what's happening in the brain with porn addiction. It all comes down to dopamine, that feel-good chemical that plays a key role in motivation and reward. When someone watches porn, their brain gets flooded with dopamine. It's a powerful feeling of pleasure and reward. And here's the thing, the brain loves patterns. The more someone repeats a behavior that releases dopamine, the more their brain starts to crave that behavior. Over time, the brain can become accustomed to these high levels of dopamine. It's like developing a tolerance. This means they might need to watch more and more porn to get the same level of pleasure they used to experience. And when they're not watching porn, they might experience withdrawal symptoms like anxiety, irritability, or difficulty concentrating. It becomes a vicious cycle, with the brain constantly seeking out that next dopamine hit. But here's the good news. The brain is also capable of change. With the right help and support, it's possible to rewire those neural pathways and break free from this addiction. Chapter 5. The brain's reward system. Now, let's dive a little deeper into the brain's reward system and how it plays a role in porn addiction. This system is designed to reinforce behaviors that are essential for survival, like eating and sex. When we engage in these behaviors, our brain rewards us with a surge of dopamine, making us want to repeat them. But here's the thing. The brain doesn't differentiate between natural rewards and artificial ones. So when someone repeatedly watches porn, their brain gets tricked into thinking that this behavior is just as important as eating or sex. The reward system goes into overdrive, reinforcing the porn-watching behavior and creating a powerful cycle of addiction. And because pornography is often designed to be highly stimulating and novel, it can hijack the brain's reward system even more effectively. The brain craves that novelty, that constant stimulation, and it becomes harder and harder to resist the urge to watch. But here's the important thing to remember. You are not your brain. You have the power to understand these patterns, to challenge them, and to make different choices. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of porn addiction. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the science behind addiction to the signs and symptoms, and the impact on the brain. If you or someone you know is struggling, remember that help is available. You don't have to go through this alone. There are therapists who specialize in addiction, support groups, and online resources that can provide guidance and support on the road to recovery. Stay informed and take care.